I'll give you a clue. It was Grimsby.
They are pressing quite well. What's happened there? You've got to be joking.
Oh, sorry, I've done it the wrong way around, so I've drawn an arrow and I haven't seen it, sorry.
He must have a horseshoe up his ass.
If we're playing on professional and that's happening for Barcelona...
2 years ago. Sorry about that, I don't know what
I'm sorry, that's just put me off the game. I'm not having that.
Anyway, segue, moving on.
What has that got to do with football? Why is that at a football ground? Hello and welcome to the Honest Football Podcast, where we bring honesty back to the beautiful game. I'm Charlie Betts, and joining me this week and every week is Craig Savage and Daniel Cody.
So how's your week been, guys?
Not been too bad, mate. It's been a week of documentaries for me and Charlie.
Yeah, no,
So-
I love a good football documentary.
So last week we had a discussion towards the end about David Robertson at Real
Yes.
Kashmir, and Charlie then went and watched the documentary and suggested that I do the same, having read the article.
And where
it
was the
is
documentary,
brilliant.
Cody? Where was it?
It was on BBC Scotland's iPlayer.
Oh.
Because,
I've got to say,
of course, the Scottish manager.
I wouldn't profess to have seen loads and loads of football or sport documentaries, but genuinely, for me, it's probably my favourite one that I've watched in a long
So
while.
it's better than the Chester City one?
Well, the Chester City one is more out of absolute dumbfoundedness of how it happened.
So
This is about the beautiful side of the game.
The ones like the Netflix ones and the Chester City ones, they're cinematic experiences.
Yeah.
This one is a
Well, I don't
proper
think
inner
the Chester
community
City
football.
one's cinematic.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? No, it's meant for the drama,
Sort
for
of
the
fly on the
theatre
wall
goal.
in it, that sort of thing, yeah.
Whereas this one is just looking at, you get the stark contrast between town and the football club, and
Yeah.
it's absolutely baffling.
But-
I'd urge anyone to watch
Do
it.
you know what I honestly... Yeah, what I would say, Craig, is it is definitely worth watching in the sense of we talk about football being for everyone, and for me that is
Football is
like
for
that is the epitome of it, because you're talking about, without ruining the whole thing for you, the area that they run the club in,
Yeah, obviously it's not
the
a
way
safe
that the
area.
club is run, the challenges that they face compared to any other team in that league.
In the world.
Yeah, exactly, in the world, to be honest. But also the impact that it seems to have on the people around it. You know, the first game, I think they had about averaged around 3,000 people, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then one of the last games later on in the documentary was it 16,000 at a game?
16,000.
And they had 5,000 or so waiting outside. So
Oh, wow.
People climbing on top of massive hills.
yeah, and the
buildings,
best bit
yeah.
for me was the way that they really pushed the ownership of the club. You know, two completely, opposite sides of the community. One was it Muslim and
One Muslim, one Hindu. It's essentially why it's a war zone at the moment,
yeah,
and
and
it's
the
just
fact that those two
absolutely
can come
amazing.
together. Yeah, and it's I cannot stress it is for me the most wrenching but also beautiful football documentary I've seen, definitely. And then I saw well no, you go first, because if I follow up with the next one it will sound ridiculous. It will completely undermine everything I've spoken about. No, well, honestly, I watched another one about Torquay United.
No, carry on, mate.
Yeah,
I quite liked hearing you make a twat.
So
yourself.
yeah.
I haven't watched
It's
the
only 25
documentary.
minutes actually. Ironically, it is on Netflix. Netflix have done this series about different sportsmen and teams, and when they lose, which
Oh.
I don't understand why this documentary was in it, because I'll explain why in a minute. But it was actually set in 1987, which Craig, you might have a little bit of understanding about, because your dad used to play for Enfield in the conference. Agreed?
Yes.
And if you
full
won the
house.
conference back pre-1987, you had to be
Yes.
voted
Yes,
into
you
the
did.
league.
And Enfield didn't get
And
the league.
they didn't know. So even though they won the league, they were whatever the blackballed, whatever the term was. But in 1987 it changed, and if you were finished bottom of what was Division 4 back then, you then got automatically relegated. Torquay United, as we all know, have had a fairly turbulent history from when they were in, I think it was 1910 or whatever it was they started. They had to, in 1987, they were a point behind Lincoln, and they were playing Crewe Alexandra on the last day of the season. Now this is obviously back in 87 when there was no watering of the pitch. It was the hottest day on record for however long. Dusty pitch. They needed to get a point to stay up because of goal difference. 2-0 down at half time, disaster. Gets to the last 10 minutes, pull one back, 2-1.
Oh,
Here we go. But this is the best bit. So there's a fullback who scored the first goal, Alan McNichol. I can't remember the exact pronunciation, but McNichol, something like that. He ball goes off the pitch. No, because it's got funny spelling.
you're undermining yourself.
No. Ball goes off the pitch towards obviously where the fans are. The fans are getting quite restless because obviously time's ticking, and they're about to go out to the Football League. So there's lots of police there. Unfortunately, as the bloke goes to pick up the ball to take a throw, a police dog attacks him and basically gouges his leg open.
Oh,
Jesus.
nice.
Yeah, it is. So unfortunately, this is the day when you only had one sub. They'd already made the one sub.
Oh, geez.
So they bandaged him up and kept him on the pitch. But it took 10 minutes for this to all, to get the dog off and all of that and blah blah. Then Torquay United scored in the 98th minute of stoppage time. But if they didn't have the dog biting the player, they wouldn't have had the 10 minutes of extra time added on. Essentially, the dog, by biting the fullback, saved Torquay United because it gave them the extra 10 minutes to then...
I'm sure that's how the fullback sees it.
No, yeah. No, but he said that he actually had a fairly decent lower league career, but he's only ever remembered as the man who got bitten by the dog. And it must be quite a shock. You had to take a throw and this dog just attacks you in the middle of a professional football match.
Don't see police dogs at the football too much.
No, that's what I mean. But it is worth watching because it's quite cleverly done. But yeah, I just, that dog kept them up.
And I guess moving to more modern times, this week we've been watching a lot of football. We've
have.
been getting a bit more actively involved. I think we often ramble about the shit niche stories of football that we like, but we don't actually show the fact that we watch a lot of football.
Yeah.
So we're getting involved in that. You'll see plenty of it on social media, and we have watched some very wacky games this week.
So I have watched the Sheffield Derby, which was a goalless draw.
Not the most niche place to start.
No, but I'll start high, and we're going to work lower.
I think I've got them all listed, the ones I watched here. I think my lowest or most niche was probably AS Vitra against Nantes in the French Cup quarter-final.
Oh, yes.
Really decent game.
I watched the first half of that.
I watched Bordeaux Montpellier, which was football was not the winner in that one.
No.
And Solihull, who Craig predicted to finish 24th, Charlie predicted 22nd. They won 5-0 at home to Maidstone to maintain their place in the title race.
Yeah.
Wonderful performance from them.
You're not letting that go, aren't you?
And a wonderful week of football. Also watched Roma, who their manager got sacked off.
I quite liked, because last week was the Scottish and the Irish Cup, so there was a couple of good games on. So on the Friday night was Coleraine Inverness, which went at 5-3. I mean, that was an incredible game. 93rd minute equaliser.
Larn.
Oh, Jesus. Did I say Inverness, Coleraine? I mixed the two games up.
Inverness,
Coleraine. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. Coleraine Larn.
I wonder what his next game's going to be.
Then on the Sunday was Inverness Dundee, which was also
a good game.
And that was a last minute.
Oh, I wrote that one. I didn't write it down. I've watched 13.
Yeah.
And we are, as we're recording this on Friday night, we are watching Glenavon v Linfield.
Yeah. And at the moment, it is nothing special. We've played 33 minutes, and the wind is.
But I think
we did catch the first half of the Falkirk game, and there was a cracking goal in there.
Yeah, it was a right back.
I've got to say,
two.
Without sounding patronising, the enjoyment of watching this kind of football compared to the Premier League. I know people might not believe you, but I enjoyed that game because I only watched the two at the weekend. I didn't really watch any during the week, but I enjoyed those two cup games last week so much more than any Premier League game I've seen in a long while. Like that Northern Irish Cup game is one of the best games I've seen in a long, long while. 8 goals, you can't ask for any more than that. You don't want to see these ball draws of blooming like Wolves and Watford or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It doesn't do it for me.
And they were on free TV as well.
Yeah.
So football's for everyone then, isn't it, Craig?
And now it's time for Ramble of the Week. I'm going to talk about 2 games that had to be temporarily stopped. So the first game was Portsmouth. They played Bradford at Fratton Park, which had to be stopped for a few minutes because of a drone hovering above the pitch.
I did see that.
Which, obviously, for health and safety reasons, is not good.
Starting to become a bit of a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know these people are getting away
Drones are not cool.
I saw a game in the Big Bash cricket a few weeks ago, and there was a drone flying, and
Was
they
it
showed
Phil
footage of it. No, it wasn't far from a plane. It was ridiculous. So we've got to be careful with stuff like that.
And then there was a game in the Northern League between Bishop Auckland and Penrith, which had to be stopped for 18 minutes because a fire broke out in the stands.
That's not good.
It's not good. So the club chairman Steve Coulthard has put out the fire brilliantly. Fair play to him. But there were apparently 4 kids running away from the scene, laughing their heads off. Apparently, a fire in the toilets. Luckily, no one was hurt.
Good.
And the game carried on after that. Bishop Auckland won 4-3.
Which is irrelevant, quite frankly. As
long
as everyone's okay, that's the most important thing. But again, we've seen quite a lot. We've mentioned it before: vandalism at non-league clubs, damaging to changing rooms,
Speaking
facilities,
of
things
vandalism,
like that. There was more this week.
Yeah, there was more. Croydon FC.
2 days in a row.
2 days in a row. Clubhouse got broken into. Stuff vandalised. As you said, I'm getting sick and tired of this now because so many non-league clubs who have volunteers and work their arses off. I was going to swear there, but I won't. They work their arses off.
Not like you've ever done it before.
No. They work their asses off, and then to have it like that, and it's an absolute disgrace. And I hope things recording. I hope Crystal Palace, as it's the Premier League club that next door to them, I hope they can do something to help raise money.
I totally agree. But it's a shame they're having to rely on that, as a way of keeping afloat, or not keeping afloat, to sort of recover from that kind of thing.
Well, the simple question is, what have you got to gain from it? Do you know
well,
what
I mean, I'm not a vandaliser, whatever the word is and stuff.
A vandal.
I don't know why you would. What's the attractive part of attacking a football ground apart from a little bit of petty cash behind a bar? Really, I mean, it's not as if they're full of high tech equipment or anything at that level.
It's an absolute disgrace, and I hope Croydon can raise. No, they're trying to raise money as well. I think £5,000.
Well, let's hope the FA spending can help that.
I highly doubt that because it's the FA.
We're watching a Northern Irish game. I'll go really, really quick one. Just a nice positive one from you, Craig. Obviously, without going into too much political history, North and South in Ireland they've had their checkered past, but the two FAs have got together and they're doing like a cross-border, cross-community sort of like football, soccer school sort of thing, all free and things like that. But it's just a good way of like introducing people from both sides of the community through the medium of football, rather than, I think there are initiatives that they're trying and they're not always coming off, whereas football, as we've spoken about, is for everyone, Craig, isn't it? And I think it gives that's such a nice way of, and probably a safer way of bringing people who have different opinions. So they're doing it in different parts of the whole of the island, but also within like Northern Ireland, there's without going too political, the both sides of the fence. So yeah, I just think that's a really nice thing. They call it the Peace Programme, and they're also they're now going to tie up with the rugby team, Ulster Rugby, and the Gaelic football, which are obviously both two different sides of the both teams are supported by sort of each side of the community, if that makes sense. So it's a good way of linking all three together.
I wanted to go back to a couple of stories we mentioned last week. One of them because it now seems that I've made myself look stupid, which is
which is normal.
We were talking about Sergio Ramos getting his yellow card
and
in the first leg of the Champions League. I did say it was quite clever.
And I told you it was stupid.
And it was stupid. So now he's banned for the first two group games next time because Real Madrid are out.
And they deserve to be out.
Yeah, I don't like this end of the era rubbish. I know don't normally talk about league football.
It's such a stupid
that we are. But I mean, they won it 9 months ago, whatever it was, and everyone was lauding about how incredible they are.
And it's not really the end of an era; it's the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They've gone out.
The other story, which Craig mentioned last week, Colwyn Bay, who were thinking about moving back to Welsh football, it has been confirmed this week they will be playing Welsh domestic football next season. So hopefully we'll see them one Friday night on S4C.
S4C.
With Welsh commentary that we won't understand.
We're going to talk about a man we've mentioned a few times on this podcast recently, Michael McCrudden, who famously was at Institute, then gone to Derry City.
Oh, was this the one that rebelled?
Yeah, rebelled basically, and ended up, he got his move, and he's now out for 12 weeks because he got injured.
Oh, good.
That's what I mean.
Very careful, Craig.
I felt, I'll be honest, I'll level it. I felt a slight element of mixed emotions. Obviously, no one wants anyone to lose their livelihood or anything like that. But there was a slight part of me that sort of thought,
he's just injured for a couple of months, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But he's basically going to start at Derry when he should have, if he'd have stayed at Institute and done his job. He's basically no worse off than if he'd have stayed there and probably not been injured. So I don't want to say karma, that's too strong a word, but maybe there's a certain element of justice about the whole situation, really.
I will not attribute myself to those comments.
I've been trying to tread carefully.
Did you know we've got the first team relegated in the non-league Premier this season?
No.
Already? Staines have already been relegated.
They're in a bit of a mess off the pitch,
aren't they? They are a mess on and off the pitch. They've played 30 games, only on 9 points. They've confirmed their relegation on Saturday. Next team that probably will get relegated is North Area United. They've obviously been
another one off the pitch we've mentioned a couple of times, and Nuneaton probably won't be far behind the two of them either. So it's a bit of a shame. Unfortunately, the boardroom struggles and problems off the pitch quite often rear their ugly head on the middle of the playing field, don't they?
They do indeed.
I found an interesting stat or two earlier in the week related to discipline in the EFL.
Okay.
Just a couple of tiny little stats about clubs, and it's led me to a slightly bigger game I'd quite like to play. So I came across.
Game of the week.
I don't think it's going to be that much of a popular game.
No, because I've already beaten you in that Name the Matchday Squad. So.
Too early to say that.
Come on.
Craig, it's not a competition. We're just having fun here.
Right, go on.
The first stat I found was Bury in League 2. Obviously, absolutely flying. Ryan Lowe got manager of the month for the third time this season. They went, after their last game, 4 full games without a yellow card. Which I found quite an interesting stat. At this day and age, we can get a yellow for anything in professional games. And the other stat was I then went and looked at the fair play tables for the league. And we're going to have a little game of who's top and bottom in each league in the
I like this. Go on.
But who do you think has the most red cards in the EFL? And I'll give you a clue. They've got 9.
Not Grimsby.
Stevenage.
Is it Grimsby?
Spot on. Stevenage. Borough?
No, it's just Stevenage.
Just Stevenage.
Stevenage FC.
9 red cards.
Wow.
And if I serve correctly, they've played 34 league games.
That's
they have.
incredible.
That is a red card every 3.75 games.
I think they had 2 at Tranmere or something like that. Got something recently. So
they've gone 3 games now without a red card, and it's their 3rd longest run of the season without a red card.
3rd longest.
Fair play to them.
Go on in.
So let's have a bit of fun. We're going to give you each a guess who's top and bottom of each league. So who do you think in the Premier League, starting first, has the worst disciplinary
Worst.
record. Now, I'm going to give you the key of how this works, okay? On the FA website, a caution is listed as 4 points.
4.
A denial of a goal scoring opportunity or a dismissal for 2 cautions, so basically anything aside from violent conduct, is 10 points. And then a red card for serious foul play, spitting, violent conduct, or something grossly awful is 12 points.
Who'd be the worst?
So who is the worst in the Premier League?
Worst.
I was going to say Cardiff.
I'm going to plump for. I was going to say West Ham or Huddersfield. I thought Huddersfield had a few. I'm going to go Huddersfield.
Okay.
I'll go for Cardiff.
You'll be both very surprised to know it's Manchester United.
Is it really?
It is. 57 cautions, which I believe is the joint most.
That's the Jose era.
And 3 red cards, and they're closely followed by Watford.
Wow.
So the teams you mentioned, Huddersfield, Charlie plumped for, they're actually got the 7th best. And you went for who? Sorry,
Cardiff.
Cardiff are 8th best. And
Silly Hummers!
I think what we've established is that me and you, in terms of predictions,
We are terrible.
What we've established, Craig's got Sky Sports and watches the Premier League. Doesn't watch it that closely.
Well, I'm not doing like the in-play betting and just good cards. The cards you're going to get in the game.
Go on in.
On the other side, who's got the best disciplinary record in the Premier League?
Well,
I'll
I'd
give you a
say-
clue. They've only got 132 points.
I
all
would say
season.
Huddersfield are probably 7th. And
Cardiff
no.
8th.
It's not Huddersfield, Cardiff, or Man
No.
United. That's the clue.
I'd say Fulham.
I'm gonna go an obvious one. I'm gonna go City because I think they get fouled so often that they're gonna have so much of the ball that it's actually.
Well, I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
go
if
City.
Fernandinho's playing.
Yeah.
So-
I'm going to say Fulham.
Fulham. So, firstly, Fulham are the 8th worst, so
Oh.
rubbish. You're 3rd with City,
Ooh.
who are just behind 2 of the other top 6. Liverpool 1st and
Yeah.
Chelsea 2nd. And
Chelsea.
some people had hinted that people might be wanting Liverpool to win in the organisational setting of the Premier League, and this may well prove it. On to the Championship.
Yeah.
Worst disciplinary record. Now I'm going to give you a clue for this team. They've got the most cautions and the most red cards, and they are 62 points clear in the disciplinary table, in a world of their own at the top of the league.
Only because I think they've had an awful season. I'm gonna go Bolton.
Okay, Craig Savage.
I'm going to go...
I like being on this side of the quiz.
No,
I've never done it before.
Do you see how I am and guess the five?
No, I just think they've had such rotten luck. I wouldn't surprise if it's Bolton. I'm basing it on absolute nothing, but.
I was going to say Leeds.
Oh yeah, they had that lad who got sent off. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say Leeds.
You're going to say Leeds,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you're not as bad as the last league. Leeds are the 8th worst.
Okay.
Bolton are 2nd. Top are Nottingham Forest.
Oh.
So I was second worst.
2nd worst with Bolton. 62
And
points.
just
off.
like the guess the five with Charlie.
Nottingham
seventh
Forest.
Close.
Well, Roy Keane got booked the other day, in fairness to him, didn't he? He's bloody assistant
Did he get
manager, isn't he? Yeah, Roy Keane got booked.
Did he?
That's it, yeah, he got booked, I can't remember their playing the other day, yeah.
I don't think they count
like-
on this.
No, but the point being is it doesn't surprise you
It's like
if their
recently.
manager is getting booked, then bloody...
And then pretty similarly, at the bottom of the Championship, we've got I'm going to do quick math, 62 point gap yet again, actually, to the
That's
lowest place
incredibly
team.
quick maths. I've
Just
got to say.
144. It's my only strength. I've got to make the most of it. 33 yellow cards in 34 games and just 1 red card. Who do you think it is?
Norwich.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have gone them, maybe Derby.
Okay, so not quite so successful this time. Norwich have the 12th best.
Halfway.
Derby are 4th worst.
Oh,
The best team by a long way, and they play quite nice football under Graham Potter, is Swansea City.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense.
They're not quite as good in cup competitions. On to League One, and if you've been a season ticket holder at Luton Town, you would immediately know who's going to be the worst in this league. But top of the league by a whopping 54 points,
I'll say
with
Accrington.
6 red cards and 85 cautions.
Accrington.
Okay, Charlie?
Well, I think it probably...
But you can't set yourself up for that.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll just... Because I think he's right, Barnsley. I'm making it up.
Okay, so Accrington Stanley are 4th.
Best or worse?
4th worst.
Oh.
Barnsley are 9th worst.
Oh, okay, right.
Who's the worst?
Top, managed by the man you
Peterborough.
would expect.
Peterborough.
No.
Oh.
Who did we slate at the start of the season?
Okay.
It's our old mate Joey Barton at Fleetwood.
Really?
Yes,
But I suppose that, yeah...
They
I
Fleetwood
remember
had
that
like
Ched
3 red
Evans-
cards in 4 games.
they did.
But that Ched Evans got done for, what was it, not violent conduct, was it? Something like that. So that'd be quite big points. And,
It's
you
not.
know, they've had a few who've been done for that sort of thing, haven't they? So,
Luton, ironically, have got one of the best in the league. Just as a side
But not
note.
the-
They've only had 2
So
red cards
that's
in 2
one,
not the
one
best.
less team to think
I'm
about.
trying to make it a bit easier for you.
Right, go on.
The best team, only 30 points clear this time. Haven't had a red card all season, and only 38 yellows in 35 games.
Complete guess, Sunderland.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the question? Best
Best in League One.
Best in League One.
Best in League One.
No red cards.
No red cards.
No
Fair
red
play.
cards.
I'll probably... No, it won't be Barnsley because they've had a red card.
And because I said they were ninth worst.
I'll probably say something like Southend.
Okay, so let's have a look for the two. Southend United.
That's why they're both not at the top.
No.
Southend United are the 12th best.
Oh, okay.
Halfway there again.
You said Sunderland, didn't you?
Yeah.
They're the 8th worst.
Oh, gosh.
At the bottom is a team, the best disciplinary record in the league is a team we've mentioned a lot in recent weeks. Coventry City.
Oh! I don't admit it, they crossed my mind for no other signs.
I'm going to assume they're going to come up later again, are they? Because we don't know what's going on with their home.
No, they've been given a...
Go on, League 2, here we go.
Now, last one, League 2, obviously. I'll give you a clue.
Oh, no, Stevenage is the
It was
worst.
Grimsby.
Stevenage are not the worst.
No,
they
not
have
the worst.
They have the most red cards with 9.
But the accumulative.
There are 2 teams above them. One of them only has 2 red cards, which shows you how many yellows they've got. But top of the list, 5 red cards, 69 cautions, and a top of the table by 10 points. Who is the worst in League 2?
I was going to say Lincoln for their style of play, but I don't think it is.
I
I'll
don't
probably
know.
say someone like Morecambe.
Yeah, I'll go Port Vale.
Okay, so
Actually, Port Vale's a good shout.
Morecambe have the 8th best.
Damn it!
Port Vale are the 5th worst, so right up there.
You did
Top
well.
of the table is Crawley Town,
Oh, okay.
closely followed by Northampton and then of course
Cobblers.
Stevenage. At the bottom, the
Who's
best
nice?
disciplinary record in League 2.
I'm going to go straight in there. Forest Green Rovers.
I was about to say something Forest Green Rovers, but I might say Macclesfield.
Again, no red cards for this team. Forest Green Rovers have the 7th worst.
Oh, no.
Macclesfield Town have the 7th best.
Ah,
But top by a long way, the best side with disciplinary, is Crewe Alexandra.
I was going to think.
And in
through.
second places are Bury, where this whole quiz started off from.
So we've gone round in
Symmetry
full circle.
We've gone round in full circle. Now that is a full old segue. Now.
Now follow that up.
May I just say that's the first and last quiz I'll be doing this year.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it.
Did you?
Speaking of red cards, did you guys see the Accrington red card? From
No,
I didn't.
They played Blackpool, so obviously Blackpool brought a full load at
Just
1800.
after their announcement.
Just after the
Yeah.
announcement. Blackpool scored to make it 2-1. A bottle got thrown onto the pitch by a fan.
Oh, I saw this, and the
then
keeper tossed it
keeper
back.
threw it back. And
Ridiculous.
The
I saw
linesman-
this. Sorry, tell like
The
absolutely
linesman
absurd.
saw it, and the referee sent the goalkeeper off.
And do you know what? The throw.
The
it wa-
Accrington keeper.
Yes.
It wasn't like a throw.
can't send
like,
the fan
it wasn't
off,
like
can he?
it wasn't like a missile throw. It's literally an underarm sort of like loop.
No,
It's
that
just-
wasn't.
No idea where it was going.
It
You know what I mean?
yeah,
It was like
he flung it.
yeah, but
I'm
more or
sorry,
less an underarm.
if he'd thrown that back into the stand, he should be off and he should be banned for a lot longer.
No, but I think it was like a more of a
I thought he
reaction.
drew
It's
through-
sort of. It's just like lobbing.
Yeah.
I don't honestly think he knew where that was going.
I thought he threw it over the stand. That's what
Yeah.
it looked like. But
I'm
obviously you're
gonna-
not allowed to do that.
I'm going to stick to the old 2 wrongs don't make a right.
No, no.
Both the person who threw the ball from the stand and the goalkeeper are both stupid.
All the goalkeeper could have done is just throw it to the floor. But
Yeah.
Highlighted to the referee, do something sensible.
Just a couple of things. There's one that I'm.
Do you like my segue, by the way?
That's a very good segue. I'm going to stick to the EFL quickly, and I'm going to ask a question because it's something I genuinely don't understand.
More questions today.
Yeah, no, not like that. As in,
Oh.
So the Charlton chair owner, Roland Duchelet.
Oh, this
he
is
wants
a
to-
very interesting story.
He wants to sell the club for £1, but what I don't understand, and you might be able to shed some light on this, he wants to sell it to the EFL, but he wants to keep the ground and the training ground. Is
Well,
that
the,
right?
the weird thing is that, like,
How can you sell a club to the league if you don't mind me asking? Because I have no
You
idea.
can tie the assets to yourself.
because he's using the fit and proper test as a way to sell the club, but obviously
But how can
obviously
a
not work.
league own a club?
It'd be a conflict of interest anyway.
So why? But that's what I don't understand. Why is he openly in the media trying to say
But I think
I'm trying to sell the club to the league?
I
to
think
the EFL?
what he'd said in the story was that the premise he'd taken over the club on, due to changes to the EFL structure and payment, the way financial payments are made,
Yeah.
is that they were now responsible for the financial troubles Charlton were having because what he signed up for, or what the EFL told him he was signing up for, no longer applies.
Right.
But, we all work in businesses. Businesses change.
Yeah.
Sainsbury's change, a school changes, the NHS changes.
Yeah.
Normally for the worst and with cuts, but you have to live with it,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
But I still don't get how you can sell it to. I baffle me.
Obviously,
And
luckily, the EFL said no.
well, the other thing while we're on the EFL,
First good decision they've made for a long time.
so I know
yeah,
you
yeah.
passed a comment on it recently, Dan. Is about the league, not chairman. What's the
CEO.
word? CEO. Sorry, that's
yes.
it. Thank you very much. about they're basically looking for a new one, aren't they? And I don't understand. There's quite a big hoo-ha around it, isn't there?
Basically, Sean Harvey might be the new guy for the FA.
So basically, what had happened is Sean Harvey. Lots of people, let's say, are happy to see the back of him. Would it be?
Let's say the Championship are happy to see the back
because of the new TV deal they've sold and things like that. The iFollow, we've seen the debacle with that, and it's costing teams lots of revenue from gate receipts, etc. But more importantly, people seem to be suggesting that because Sean Harvey's the face of it and he goes, that things are suddenly going to be different. And the most important part of that statement is, as well as a new CEO, we will be hosting our own internal review of how affairs are run. And if you have an internal review, my point was, you can hide what you want to hide. Yeah. So if I go to my work and I say, I'm going to do an internal review of my work this week, I'm not going to say, do you know what? I use the work resources to print the podcast notes. I'm not going to do it, am I?
Basically, you're accentuating your positives and hiding your negatives.
Exactly. But when you're running a service for 72 clubs and for grassroots football and academies, you can't do that.
The same. Like FIFA did the exact same thing. We're going to have an internal review, and Michael Garcia basically just said how he saw it, and then hid most of it because obviously everyone got exploited.
You're being paid, even if they get someone. What's the word I'm looking for? Impartial to do a report. They're still going to be being paid by the EFL. Yeah. And the EFL are only going to pay them if they're happy with what's in.
Right. That makes it a lot clearer.
If they make it negative, obviously that person is going to get the sack. It's the exact same thing like with FIFA.
It's just a shame. I think we've mentioned this a few times over other stories where it's people who I don't mean it's in a rude way. People who don't understand or know inverted commas football, who are making major decisions about it, or their background isn't with their understanding of football and the impact
it needs what we have in the public service, what you'll have in schools, what I'll have in the NHS, which is people who are specially commissioned who turn up impromptu and see what's going on, not on a day when you've planned it to be
exactly, that's true.
To see what happens on a normal day, and it would bring a lot of issues out from underneath the carpet.
Well, speaking of issues, there is a massive issue with Bolton Wanderers. Obviously, they shut the training
ground. More than one, isn't there?
Well, it's just one. They didn't have enough to pay staff, have they?
Pay staff, obviously.
Well, was it I think they didn't have enough for the electricity at the training ground recently. Like
they didn't have enough food for the training ground.
Was it food? Sorry, something like that. Supplies, anyway. Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to be hit up with a winding up water again, and I really feel for Bolton because obviously since that, Phil Gartside died, God bless him, it just obviously it hasn't been well, and it's just such a shame, and it's just you don't want any big any club to go bust, and no. Even in non-league, you don't want a non-league club to go bust or fold, but with same thing with Coventry, you don't want these sort of teams to go. There's so much history
to go.
The only thing I would say in terms of the football, generally this stuff starts to fall apart when the football inside goes wrong, and all of the clubs we've mentioned, or nearly all of them, have got something in common. Charlton were mid-table in the Premier League year after year, and said the fans got restless, said Alan Kirby's it's boring, get him out. And they got relegated immediately, and they haven't bounced back yet. They're now in the third tier. Bolton Wanderers, Sam Allardyce. You're in Europe with Galacticos, but you're playing crap football. Get out.
Yeah, there you go. No, I completely agree. I mean, I think you're right about that. To be honest, it is. I mean, you just quite quick segue.
Coventry, similar.
Yeah, I mean, Villa
Notts County are sliding.
I think. Sorry, I just took a note down there. But Villa, obviously, in their bid to try and get up to the Premier League recently, I think they've lost. I've just lost it now. Yeah, they made a loss of 14.5 million 2 years ago, and where is it at the back? I've my notes all over. Oh yeah, basically for last season they made a loss of 36.1 million. Now, all the time you're doing that, you're hemorrhaging money.
Once you get past 3 seasons in the Championship, you don't get parachute payments.
That's it, yeah.
And you've got to have the wage bill down by there.
So I think it's not looking good for those.
And we look, I know they may well come back this year, but look how long it's taken Leeds. We had Southampton went down to League One, Leicester the same, and you've just got to be very careful.
I totally agree.
Absolutely agree.
That's unlike us.
No. There'll
be something to disagree on in a second, people. Don't worry.
I've got a couple of bits on women's football, and then I've actually got a bit of a bump edition of African Chronicles. If you're up for it,
but take it away.
But not yet. One thing I really want to quickly talk about.
Are you going about women's football first?
Yeah.
Congratulations to England winning the Sheep League.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic.
Well, I wasn't going to. I'll go on to women's football now. I was going to talk about Marvin Sordell. We'll do that. No, there's just really quickly. It's quite an interesting story. So, World Cup winner Sydney Leroux. I might be pronouncing her name
I've seen this.
wrong.
I can't believe what I saw.
So she plays for the Orlando Pirates. She's husband of former Norwich player Dom Dwyer. I don't know if you remember him, striker.
No.
Anyway, she's his partner. She's gone back to pre-season 5.5 months pregnant. because technically she's still employed and obviously isn't on maternity.
Maternity.
There is obviously, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but
there's
elements of what you should be doing when you're pregnant, when you shouldn't be. So
not being at risk of a football hitting you at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that sort of thing. So I think her training is slightly limited. But even then, there's a few people on social media who maybe don't deserve the time of day, but are a bit critical of the fact of, is she being irresponsible? And we're not here to talk about that debate. But at the same point, I suppose it can be quite inspiring for
with the greatest respect. I know I'd be very surprised if she's very heavily involved with the technical side of the game, as in the contact the game.
Yeah,
but exercise is a great thing for people when they're pregnant. So it's not a problem at all if it's just doing the fitness work, and more importantly, socially having that contact.
Exactly. So I think
it seems a positive thing for me.
Social media can be a slightly dark.
The few keyboard warriors. Obviously, as we're recording this, it's International Women's Day as well.
It is. Yeah.
And there's been some great stories as well from some broadcasters in the sports world who have again been basically they've spent
very good at their job.
And again today, thanks Craig, thanks for that wonderful insight. Craig's
they are very good at their job.
Certainly better than us.
That's why they get paid the big bucks.
But the good thing this year is rather than just trying to... In previous years, it seemed like they had to spend the day trying to justify why they were suitable for that role. But what's happened this year is they've spent more of the time highlighting the idiots who have probably held it back before. And I found it quite interesting. Some of the ones they've shown. And it's
No, I totally agree.
It shows just how stupid people have been. And those who are sort of, let's say, on the fence or a bit... undecided on the issue, or maybe just, they're from a different generation or whatever. When they see some of the things these people are posting, as human beings, you then go, hang on a minute.
I don't know. You hit it down the head, keyboard warriors, because that's what a lot of them are. And I think in some ways, the less exposure, the less we talk about them, the quicker they'll go. A bit like Adrian Durham, but that's another conversation for another time, to be honest.
Well, that's not a conversation that's worth having if we want to keep things light and positive.
No, another nice story. So, two twins from Cumbria, ladies still football, sorry, we're still on that. Rio and Steffi Hardy have now gone to Limassol in Cyprus as professional footballers. They were unfortunately they were actually playing for Blackburn Rovers, but there was financial issues and the women's section unfortunately went bust for a while. Okay. This was a couple of, I think it was a year ago. Yeah, 1 year ago. So via United States Iceland, they're now going for the title chasing team Apollon, which is in Limassol. And yeah, I think, let me get this right, they are the only they're identical twins, which I think they're the first set of identical twins from England to go and play football abroad, which is probably a fairly niche record to have.
I was going to say, it's a niche stat, that.
Still one you need to have, nonetheless.
Not a bad place to be playing your football.
No, exactly, no, compared to, whether you get in North England compared to there, so, yeah.
Yeah. And you got any African Chronicles?
I have quite a few African Chronicles.
Okay, let's have a couple.
To go there now, or have you got any more?
No, I want you to go straight to Africa.
I feel like
should we point out that you're wearing a fake Bovington Market Ghana shirt?
Well, it's actually from a...
For podcast listeners, should we say, not many people know where Bovington is.
No, this wasn't actually from one of those dodgy markets you go over here. It cost me about...
It's a dodgy market you get over there.
Well, it's a really quick African Chronicle story about myself, actually. No, I went to Ghana to do a bit of volunteer work 2009, so,
Make yourself look like a good human being now.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, but at the time, it was when Michael Essien was in his pomp, and everywhere you went was just Michael Essien advertising this, or I couldn't actually get an official Ghana shirt. A, because they're almost impossible to come by in the actual country, and B, I was in a fairly remote area. So they only had these dodgy fake ones that I'm wearing now, which just look ridiculous. And you won't obviously be able to see it because you're listening to it. It's a horrible garish yellow that I'm wearing.
We will post it on Twitter.
But the reason I bought this one was because it was the only shirt I could find that didn't have Michael Essien on the back, and it actually had Championship manager legend Stephen Appiah, number 10, who I believe at the time was at Fiorentina.
I mean, I had him for Blackpool in the Champions League. What a player.
So, yeah.
What a player.
But no, so I wore this in honour of the fact that I've got quite a few stories. So
they better be good after this.
They better be in Ghana as well.
There isn't actually one in Ghana, no. But I don't I'm starting in the Ivory Coast and I don't have an Ivory Coast top. So,
we can that.
Dan, you are a fan of the African Cup of Nations.
I am,
and
I'm hoping this summer we'll be able to watch it while we're doing some episodes.
But you'll be sad to know that Ivory Coast goalkeeper and legend Boubacar Barry is retiring.
No!
Is he the guy that does retiring?
He does. There are a lot of African keepers that do. Boubacar Barry is one of the most famous.
Lovely.
Yeah, so he was playing in Belgium, but unfortunately, he is now 39.
Yeah, he's getting
had a stellar career. But he made 86 appearances for Ivory Coast and famously saved the penalty in the final against Cameroon, which was 9-8, I believe. at the time. You know, that pep final was a ridiculous thing. So yeah, Boubacar Barry, always a great bet to have on your...
And always an entertaining watch. I'm sure if you put his name in YouTube, you'll get some stellar highlights from that as well.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah. So, moving on. Don't know if you remember him, he used to play for Hull and Rangers, Daniel Cousin.
Scored the winner against Arsenal at the Emirates. That's what
recently been unveiled as the new manager of Gabon, the national team. Played 2 games against South Sudan and won both of those. But he is now targeting already getting to the African Cup of Nations and then onto the World Cup. So he's got a bit of ambition about him there.
Big stage.
Has the issue been resolved with certain international players? There was a few international players in the setup where... am I thinking of Gabon where it was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's dad or brother who came in as the assistant manager, and it caused a bit of a riot with some of the professional players?
Yeah, it was his dad, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure.
Charlie's
not going to have the answer. I don't know why I've asked this.
No.
Charlie, I would like you to report back on that.
No, I can do. Yes. But there was an issue with payments, but I'm not going into that bit. And yeah, so a sad story, but I will follow up with a good one. So the mother, well, it's happy in a sense. The mother of the Nigeria international Samuel Kalu had been released after being kidnapped by gunmen. They were trying to extort him for money. And I don't know if you remember, this happened a while back with John Obukel's father and Joseph Yobo's brother. So it's becoming, unfortunately, a bit of a spate. I say only because it's no life is worth any sort of money, but they only wanted 27 grand, which it just seems for someone a professional footballer of that ilk having that money. It's just a ridiculous situation that people think it's okay just because someone's been successful in sport to then extort them by kidnapping family members, which is absolutely ridiculous.
It links back to something it turned out to be less severe, but again we saw this week with Brendan Rodgers where he'd moved to Leicester and then his house got burgled with his wife and stepdaughter in it, and it's just like, you might not agree, you might think he's a traitor or whatever in terms of football, but what the fuck's his family done?
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, it is now time for Name the Matchday Squad, which is without doubt my favourite part of the show. Because
I'm good at this.
Well,
I'm starting to lose focus.
No. Well, you say that. I'm hoping that we might see a bit of a closer tie this one. So its currently scores are
8-4 to me.
But we will.
It's all about winning for some people, isn't it?
We'll kick off now. Anyway, so basically, what's going to happen is both Dan and Craig are going to name anyone who started the game of my choosing, which I haven't read out yet. I don't know where I'm going with that one. Basically, if you've got this far in the podcast, you've probably heard this before here, but it's sudden death. They've got to name someone who played, either whether they started or come off the bench.
Yes.
And if we still go to a tiebreaker, then it will be the
we'll never get
it. Now, last week, you remember that we went to Portsmouth, and when they beat Wigan 1-0 in the FA Cup final.
No, they didn't. They played Cardiff.
Cardiff, that's what I meant. Cardiff 1-0 in the FA Cup
Does
final.
that mean we're going to Wigan v Man City?
No, we are going back to...
We
are going back to Chelsea versus Portsmouth, the 15th of May, 2010. Now, someone might have researched this, I don't know, but...
Not recently.
I want to make it...
the fair?
I want to make it a bit... Or I want to make it fairer, because it was starting to get a bit of a too big a gap, and people will lose interest.
But this was 9 days ago, I can't remember any.
No. So, we're going back to 15th of May, 2010, FA Cup final, Chelsea versus Portsmouth. Referee Chris Foy. Attendance that day, 88,335.
You know one man who played, don't you, Craig?
Both teams made 3 subs.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is... There was at least one...
That's as much as you can tell us for now.
For now, yes.
Am I going first this week?
Yeah, why not?
So Charlie, cue the music. Okay, so
let's... You know, since that music's coming on...
You've not won one, so the music stays. So let's start with Petr Cech.
Petr Cech started in goal for Chelsea. Yes, that is correct.
Well, do you want to state your obvious one?
It was 4-4 when the music started, so let's just... No, I'm not going to do the obvious one. I'm going to take risks and hope I lose because I don't want this to be close. I'm going to go for Frank Lampard.
Mr. Penalty.
Frank Lampard, yes, started the game for Chelsea.
Mr. Penalty. I will go for Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole started at left back for Chelsea.
I am going to go for KPB.
Kevin Prince Boateng, I assume you're about. Yes, he started the game as well.
Barcelona's newest signing.
He also missed a penalty. That was before the man Didier Drogba scored.
Didier Drogba, yes, started up front for Chelsea.
I might as well go for John Terry, get it out of the way.
Yes, John Terry played and started the game for Chelsea.
Now, here's the one I'm a bit stumped on for the other centre half. I've got 2 players in mind.
Well, let's know your thoughts, because which one do you go for? If you get it wrong, I'll go for the
I
other.
will go for David James.
David James started in goal for Portsmouth.
Was it John Terry's best centre half final? Was it?
Well, he did come out on pitch once.
See, I've got a feeling I know who the left back was, but I don't know if he was fit for the final. But I'm assuming, because Portsmouth that season had about 15 players,
I think I know the left back.
I'm going to go, whether he's left back or left wing, Nadir Belhaj.
He would have been the winger.
Nadir Belhaj came on after 81 minutes.
Still came on, that's all that
No,
matters.
it counts. It counts.
Did he play? No, I don't know if he came on.
No, it's tough, isn't it?
It's a tough one. See, I thought the left back was a player that we mentioned previously, or we might have mentioned previously on the Name the Matchday Squad, and I think
I know you're going to go.
it's Armand Traore.
Now, unfortunately, Craig, Armand Traore was not in the squad at all.
Oh.
No, so Dan, for a rare win,
I don't know.
you need to choose someone who played that day. Unfortunately, yeah, Armand Traore was not in the squad at all.
I'm trying to
He's not in the 17 at all, no.
18, where it is.
I'm trying to think obvious Chelsea players at the time. I can't even remember Chelsea centre half.
I think I know centre half. I had 2 in my head, and
The only one I've got in my head is Boularus, and I'm not confident.
I think you should go for him.
No, I don't.
He definitely played.
I'm trying to
He
think.
100% played.
Right backs at the time.
100%.
Do I go for Pamaro again, even though I'm not that sure? I've got. Oh, I don't
Are you
know.
sure about him? I definitely
Do
think.
you know what I was going to go
Boularus-
for? Do you want me to tell you who I was going to go for? Sol Campbell. But I don't think that was. I think that was after we went Notts County.
I think he was there.
I am going to press you for an answer because we are hitting the 45 minute
Well, you
mark.
know, we can fucking edit it. Can't
That's the first bit of swear words today.
This is a chance to win, and I'm going to take as long as I need. See, I've got David Nugent in my head. I've got so many players, and at least half of them will have played, but I don't know which ones. And if I keep talking while I'm thinking, Charlie's going to have a lot of work to do.
Really?
I've got Johnny Tucker.
Nah, he would have gone by then. He would have Rangers by then.
Rangers. So had Steve Davis didn't even play.
No.
Sean Davis, that's what I'm thinking of. Oh, I don't know, Charlie, mate.
For the win,
I've got Balak, SEN.
essentially the ball has gone across the 6-yard box. The keeper is on his arse.
But
Yeah.
am I going
You
to
have
do
a net gaping in front of you. Have you got
Him
enough?
played better than's been suspended.
in bet? Because I know you're probably going to win now.
There's a drone above the Honest Football Podcast studio.
Go for it, Dan.
Just
It got me once, it's going to get me twice. No way,
He
Pamaro.
played. Don't be silly.
Unfortunately, Noe Camero wasn't in the squad at all. So
No!
2 weeks running, Noe Camero.
No way, Pamaro is
absolutely
So we're back to the start again
Back
now?
to,
Carry
back
on.
to the square
No way,
one.
Pamaro is my favourite.
Noe Camero twice has stitched you up.
At least
But
6 of the
listen,
people I mentioned were
It's
Oh,
the first time ever
God.
we've both got the same question answer wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
This is great. So we carry on. I'm going to go for Michael Ballack.
Well, I've given you about half the rest of the
Michael,
teams now.
That's your own fault,
Michael
mate.
Ballack did start for Chelsea, yes.
That's your own fault.
That is my own fault. I'm going to go David Nugent.
David Nugent didn't play
He
for
didn't?
Portsmouth that
He
day.
didn't play?
No,
Oh.
he did not.
That surprises me.
Oh, sugar.
Hey, surprises Craig as well.
Good. Good.
Can I check? Well, you've won now.
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
Have I won?
Yeah, you went first.
Oh yeah, you went first.
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
did
won.
win.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that was
It's like
that
it's like a penalty shootout.
Name, name one more anyway, Craig. Go on.
I'm probably going to get this wrong. I think the centre half was... Oh, what did he play? Oh.
Just
It
say
doesn't matter, Craig.
Was it Carvalho?
No, it was not. No,
No, it was
no,
Alex.
okay.
Too
wasn't it?
late for it.
It was Alex.
Did Glenn Johnson
It was
play?
Alex. So I'll
thought it
go
was
for the
Alex.
team. So for Chelsea, I had Petr Cech in goal, Alex, John Terry, Branislav Ivanovic, Ashley Cole,
I
Michael
was going to say
Ballack,
Pal forever.
Frank Lampard, Nicolas Anelka, Didier Drogba, Solomon Kalou, Florent Malouda.
Oh.
All of those
Oh,
sorts of
Let's
Malouda-
forget about them. Lot,
Malouda's
Coming off the
best
bench
season.
for Chelsea was Giuliano Belletti, Joe Cole, and Daniel Sturridge actually came on in the FA Cup final. On the bench also was Henrique Hilario, Nemanja Matic, Yuri Zhurkov, or however you pronounce
Yeah.
that.
Zhurkov.
And
Zhurkov.
Zhurkov. And Paolo
Zhurkov.
Zhurkov, sorry.
Bolton 2003, we mentioned him before.
Paolo Ferreira as well. Right, Portsmouth, here we go. Here's the one that got you. So you had David James in goal, Steve Finnan,
Steve Finnan?
Yeah.
Aaron McQueen.
Aaron McQuainer,
Oh, Aaron McQuainer. What a life.
Ricardo Rocha,
Oh,
Oh,
God, I
he's
forgot
idiots.
about all these names.
Hayden Mullins,
Oh.
Kevin Prince Boateng, Dan's favourite player, Michael Brown,
Oh, dear.
Papa Bouba Diop, can't believe he didn't go for the fridge, Jamie O'Hara, Aruna Dindan,
Oh no!
and Frederick Picquion.
Oh, Picquion, yeah.
Coming off the bench for Portsmouth that day, John Utaka, Nadir Belhaj, who you said, and Kanu.
Oh, gosh, Kanu.
So also on the bench was Jamie Ashdown, Tao Ben Haim, Richard Hughes, and Anthony Vanden Boer.
Was he the one that Cammy had the problem with?
I think so, yeah.
Another Football Manager wonder kid.
So yeah.
So it is 9-4, and
I missed an open goal.
You did
missed an open goal.
You did a Paul Gascoigne versus
You
Germany
did-
96.
You did a Kanu for West Brom against Middlesbrough. And that is it for today's Ramble. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can follow Cody at it's
Just
at
don't do
FM
that.
Load. You can follow,
Craig, only you want to plug your Twitter. Do yours, do the podcast, off you go.
you can follow Cody at FM Load. You can follow me on Twitter at CraigSage89, and you can follow us,
Which is the important one.
the important one,
Stop
at
plugging yourself, you egomaniac.
Honest Football 3. And we'll see you next time.